Good morning, everyone. Today, my group and I will be presenting to you our real-life negotiation case study scenario, including discussion on relevant theory and analysis. We delve into discussion on the integrative bargaining theory, looking at the outcome of problem-solving behaviours and how to create a win-win situation or the most beneficial outcome for everyone. Within this, the Zopper and Batner theories are explored. The context of the situation will be examined, paying attention to the importance of relationships correlating with that of the negotiation outcome. Additionally, differences in cultural values are discussed through Hofstede's theory of cultural dimensions. To begin, we will first deliver the background details of the case study. Our negotiation revolves around a group of 3 girls travelling to Europe, which isn't an easy task to coordinate. The negotiation involved 2 of my friends, Claire, Brianna, and myself. We shared differences in where we wanted to travel, destinations we wanted to visit, financial states, dates we had to return by, and also family trips being considered. I wanted to visit Italy, Germany, Spain, France, and Croatia. I'd been saving my money for this trip and didn't have any date I had to return by, but wanted the holiday to be as long as possible. This would have allowed time for me to visit my family in Italy as well as the other destinations. Brianna wanted to visit Spain, France, and Italy as she also had family there. Brianna has been saving up for the trip, but had to return by the 23rd of June for a nursing course. Finally, Claire is slightly tighter with her money and really only had interest in travelling to Greece. However, was happy to visit Germany and Spain for myself and Brianna. Unfortunately, she didn't have any interest in travelling to Italy. Claire also has to return for the 23rd of June for the same nursing course as Brianna. We all agreed on leaving on the 1st of June and the holiday to be 3 weeks or 4 weeks max. We mainly disputed over the family visits myself and Brianna wanted, as Claire wasn't too keen. Claire was worried that going to Italy would be out of her budget. Brianna and Claire needed to be home by the 23rd of June for a nursing course in which they'd already paid for. However, I really wanted the holiday to be 4 weeks and tried to push them to reschedule it. We concluded that myself and Brianna were willing to visit Greece for Claire if Claire agreed to travel to Italy. We agreed on coming home a week early for the nursing course, especially since Claire was willing to spend extra to travel to Italy. I decided to leave a week earlier to make my trip the full 4 weeks and visit Croatia in this time, meeting the girls in Italy on the 1st of June. Finally, Claire has agreed on visiting the extra destinations the other girls are interested in because of the free accommodation that their families are providing for them in Italy.
So in this section, we'll briefly explore the scholarly literature and the relevant theory and how it implicates and relates to our case within the discussion and negotiation. The emergence of integrative bargaining theory had its first origins in the work of Walton and McKersey, 1965, who designed a theoretical framework for understanding the negotiation process. Integrative bargaining is an outcome of problem-solving behaviours in negotiation, where parties exchange information honestly and openly in order to reach a win-win agreement. This win-win agreement is the preferred resolution for parties that wish to maintain either an informal or professional relationship by satisfying both sides' needs. In the integrative approach to a negotiation, concepts relating to the key features of negotiation, Batner theory, and addressing cultural differences are all significant in reaching an agreeable compromise and will be discussed and analysed relating to our negotiation and case study today. In the book Effective Negotiation from Research to Results, 2019, Fels defines negotiation as the process where opposing parties try to resolve their differences through a process of exchanging offers and exploring options. Negotiation has been termed a mixed motive interaction. Parties are driven by their own competitive interests but must compromise with the other party's interests for a more cooperative and overall beneficial outcome for everyone. Because Georgia, Claire, and Brianna were all travelling together as friends, it was in the girls' best interest to reach an integrative agreement that everyone was somewhat happy with, as to avoid damaging their relationship and causing a poor holiday experience for everyone. While the girls wanted to accomplish all of their own holiday plans, at the end of the day, the main reason for the holiday was to spend quality time together. As defined by Fels and Scheer in 2019, the key features of negotiation are as follows. A, we have the parties, the groups, people involved in the negotiation. Relating to the case, the parties were Georgia, Claire, and Brianna. B, a differences, what the parties want to negotiate about. So this relates to the length of the holiday and what countries the girl wanted to visit regarding the negotiation. C, the process, how the parties resolved their differences and reached an integrative agreement, and D, the agreement, the overall outcome of the negotiation. In the analysis section of the presentation, we will further explore the process of Georgia's negotiation and link this to how the girls came to reach an integrative negotiation bargaining agreement.
Now we move on to the zone of possible agreement, which is also known as the ZOPA. So this refers to the bargaining range where two or more individuals find a common ground and occurs when there is an overlap in interests. Now, here we have got a graph which shows each individual girl and each desired place to travel to on their trip. We've got high desire to travel on the right-hand side and low desire to travel on the left-hand side. And it is clear that there are a few overlaps between individuals in places they would like to visit. However, as a whole, the girls can only agree on one country, and that is France, that they all wish to travel to. Claire and Brianna both place Italy quite high on their desire to travel to, as they would love to see their family and don't see much interest in going to Greece. Opposing this is Claire. Claire would love to go to Greece this time. She has placed it quite high on her travel list, but doesn't have much interest in visiting Italy as she can't afford it at the moment. Because of these conflicting contrasts in places they want to visit, the girls will have to negotiate to come up with another alternative. This is also known as the BATNA, or the best alternative to a negotiated agreement. The girls can reach this through a use of strategies as well as using a bargaining mix, which includes things such as free accommodation and add-ons. Here we have a graph and it shows the importance of outcomes and importance of relations and how that affects what strategy individuals will take within a negotiation. If you're negotiating with a one-off partner and do not intend on building a relationship with them and have quite high stakes in the negotiation, a more contending approach may be used. This is resulting in a win-lose situation, leaving one party satisfied and one party less satisfied or dissatisfied. This is not ideal in situations when you will be meeting with the business partner again, as it can often make the relationship go south. Opposing this is a more collaborative approach. This is when relationships are as important as outcome. In this situation, the girls are friends and would like to remain friends beyond this trip, therefore have a high importance on maintaining relationships. Importance of outcome is also of high because all these girls have saved their money and know it is a big expense to go on this trip. They also know they will unable to be going to Europe every single year, therefore want to get the most out of it this time. Because of this, the girls should take a more collaborative approach. One compromise that was made was that both Brianna and Georgia offered Claire free accommodation if she agreed to come with them to Italy. This solved the issue that Claire had of not being able to afford places in Italy as she didn't have the funds. Another compromise that was made was that Georgia agreed to leave 1 week prior to the other girls in order to visit Croatia. The two other girls had to be back for their nurse's course, and that was uncompromisable as it is of high importance to them, and although excited for the trip, it was more important for them to get back for their course. As well as this, the girls didn't express too much interest in Croatia, which Georgia had quite a high interest in visiting. Therefore, leaving 1 week early allowed her to visit Croatia and also have that 4-week holiday which she really wanted.
Differences in cultural values have long been considered a significant factor in models of cross-cultural negotiation. In taking an integrated response to bargaining, any differences in culture must be first understood in order to reach a mutually beneficial compromise. Gerd Hofstede's theory of cultural dimensions describes the effects of society's culture on the values of its members and then relates these values to behaviours using a 5-dimensional framework. The model proposes 5 dimensions through which cultural values can be quantified, these dimensions being power distance index, individualism versus collectivism, uncertainty avoidance, masculinity versus femininity, and temporal perspective. Typically, this model is used in international business negotiations, but the theory can also be applied to any negotiation that possesses any sort of cultural barriers. In the setting of a cross-cultural negotiation, these dimensions are critical as they can reveal any cultural bias in one of the parties' negotiations. And then understanding bias in another's negotiation is essential to understanding how people from different cultures may communicate differently and therefore in reaching the ultimate compromise. As discussed in the previous slide, the girls wish to take an integrative approach to their negotiations as they wish to maintain their relationships. Specific to our given case study, 2 of the girls wish to visit family in Italy, which is significant to the individualism dimension of Hofstede's model. Individualist cultures greatly value the well-being of oneself and direct family only, whereas a collectivist society values the well-being of the group, which is typically within a workplace environment. In this, Italy ranks very highly in the individualism dimension with its IDV score of 76, which compared to other countries is relatively very high. And this entails that it has a very individualist culture, which greatly values the family network and very little on employee relations, which is reflected by the Italian value of the family is everything, and how that is the basis for many Italian households. Claire does not understand the significance of family to the Italian culture due to her low contextual understanding of the cultural barrier, and she therefore has very little interest in visiting. In this scenario, Claire is demonstrating ethnocentrism, as she is evaluating the other girl's values based on preconceptions made from her own culture, which may not value family networks as highly. In the integrated negotiation, the girls must arrive at a mutually beneficial win-win solution. The obvious resolution for this situation is for Brianna and Georgia to communicate the higher context of family in the Italian culture to Claire. This will give Claire a level of understanding of the other girl's reasoning in wanting to visit family. And then in a cooperative negotiation, this will give rise to acculturation, which is the process of adjusting to another culture by accepting some of its values. Here, Claire can level with the other girl's offer and accept free accommodation in reaching a compromise.
In summary, it's clear the girls are willing to work through their differences and explore their options. They would all be satisfied with the end outcome. The importance of their relationship and the importance of the negotiation outcome itself was also of great significance to them. Due to this negotiation being cross-cultural in nature, challenges did emerge. However, they were able to work through these to ensure they could all enjoy themselves and keep their relationship strong. We can conclude that the girls were able to collaborate on ideas and finish with a win-win agreement. Thank you.